All right, continuing chapter 37. Like we said last time, very, very long chapter. I think one or two more classes, one for sure. Maybe two more classes until we finish it. And it is like this. We're saying that every soul, there's 600,000 root souls. Each soul is subdivided into 600,000. And each soul has to perform the 613 mitzvahs, and the mitzvahs on the level of nefesh, mitzvahs on the level of ruach, different soul planes and different levels at Tzilos. So if you want to understand what's taking so long and why there's so many reincarnations, well, it's because the mitzvahs have to be formed in variety different ways. And he says, the whole nitzos, continuing, we're getting right back into it. And each spark, lo yered lo lamaza, the only reason why it descends into this world and to interact with the nefesh chiyunas, with the vital soul. Although it's a great descent, because you remember, everything Hashem does is for a purpose. Sending the soul down is for a purpose. So if it has a good up there before, why send it down? So even though the soul is going through what's called suffering, and distance, and separation, and anxiety, and he says, "Bechinas golos mamash," and to an state of exile. Remember, we spoke about what is exile. The exile means the lack of ability to express yourself, to be your true self. So when the neshama comes down here, it cannot be its true self. And we're not talking about bums like us. We're talking about even if the person's the greatest tzaddik, that's serving Hashem with tremendous awe and this highest level of love, which we're going to learn in chapter 42. The tzaddik will never get to the level of connection of Hashem, with awe and love, prior to it descending into this world. It won't even scratch the surface. And there's no comparison between them, between the way the soul experiences love and fear before it comes down and while it's here. Like it's known to every intelligent person, anyone thinks about it, because the body can't contain such an experience. So that's the case. Why do it? Why should the neshama come down? The only reason why it comes down, my friends, to enclose itself in a body and a nefesh chiyunas and a vital soul, who could in order is a sort. It's the letaknam belvad. Sorry, is to fix them. I mean, the soul doesn't come down to repair itself. The soul comes down in order to elevate the world, it's small world, the body, and the whole environment, the whole world. Will have freedom and to separate them from the evil. So shalosh klips atmeis. Hashem says there's an environment down there that's all messed up, and I'm sending you. So I don't want to go. You're my best soldier. Exactly. That's why I'm sending you. Because you can do it. And when I was a kid, they used to give the youngest counselors the youngest bunk. So when I was 16 years old, I was a counselor in a sleepaway camp. I had 13 kids. 13 kids in my bunk. 7 of these kids were 6. I was 16. I didn't know what I don't even have any younger brothers and sisters. Then they realized that doesn't make any sense. We should give the most experienced counselors, like 2 years after, they realized that's a mistake. We should give the most experienced counselors the hardest kids. The reason why Hashem sends the neshama down, it's because it's capable to separate it through safeguarding, keeping the 365 shalnats, and to elevate the vital soul. We learned before, when you do a mitzvah, you elevate your entire body and the food and the money, the willing to buy the food, and to bind them, and to unite them with the infinite energy of Hashem that is drawn in them through doing the mitzvahs. This is why so many mitzvahs are action mitzvahs. We are a religion, culture of action. We don't sit there and ponder the meaning of the universe, and it's not about learning about all these things. You obviously have to learn, but why do you have to learn? Why do you have to learn? No, what the Gemara has this argument.
Learn Torah or learn anything?
This is a Jewish class. We'll tell you.
Yeah, well,
The Gemara has a debate. What's greater, learning or doing?
Learning. Well, no, for the sake of learning or learning for the sake of doing.
So the Gemara says learning is greater because it leads to doing. You can't do the mitzvahs if you don't know what to do, right? Yeah, but ultimate learning is not.
Talmud Torah keneged kulam.
Yeah, but that you should know. But that's a mitzvah. And when you're learning Torah, you have to say the words, and you have to actually try to understand it, right? But no,
yes, it did.
No, it did not.
Yeah, the prehistoric ancestor of the chicken wasn't exactly a chicken. It was something a little different, and the first chicken was hatched. It was a variation that one. Yes.
No, the Medrash clearly says Hashem created the world ready.
Yeah.
So I'm not arguing with you.
Oh no! Hold on. So we're talking. So you're just outright invalidating evolution.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's an opinion. I mean, that's okay. Like starting from there, it's clear. I mean,
Evolution's a theory.
I know.
Hasn't been proven yet.
As we're saying, because our job is to elevate the world, so therefore there's so many things in the Neshama to do. Because there's not so much about thinking. I mean, obviously thinking is more of a soul thing. Loving is more of a soul thing. But the Neshama is perfect on its own. Hashem wants us to elevate the world. Hashem is saying, stay away from the bad stuff and interact as much as you can with the good stuff and elevate it. It says in Kabbalah, the Neshama itself doesn't need any fix. And but for itself, it didn't need to come into this world. Only to bring down the Hashem's light, to repair the body, to perfect the world. Who mamish, and this really is dugma sayid kolos hashchina, lavar nitzotzin. This is, America sent young boys, 18, 19, across the sea, World War II. Could have stayed. Right, in the United States, everything might have been fine and dandy, right? We have the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, but they said no. You got to go there and you got to fight evil over there. And what was the condition for the soldiers in Europe was hell. Right? Everything was terrible, but there's nobility in that mission. So the Neshama goes into the state of exile, away from the Shekhinah, lavared in tzutz, in order to elevate, to refine the sparks. This is a quote brought from the Shviras HaKelim. Remember the breaking of the vessels? Remember that? Mm-hmm. In the world of chaos, there was a lot of energy, and not insufficient containing energy, containing power. So what was there, it says, to use the words of Kabbalah, again, we use those words, the Gemara says, l'shaber sa'izin, to get the ear accustomed to understanding. But obviously these aren't literal. So the vessels broke, couldn't take it, it fried the circuit. And our job is to elevate those.
Isn't it just a expansion and then a contraction? Because everything comes back to Chad. So we are collecting sparks of a broken expanse to collect it back to one.
But the expanse was uncontrolled. If the expanse is uncontrolled, then it can't be contraction. See, the world of Tikkun works is because the process works of godly light in a directed manner. If you have too much energy and not enough know where to channel it, then the system breaks down.
I just finished Rav Dover Penson's book on Shabbat.
Oh yeah?
And he was talking about how...
Say it lower.
So he was talking about how there was a week. Our world of Tikkun started on the 25th, right? Of
the world was created 25th of Elul.
Yeah. Right, and the Shabbat before the 25th of Elul was the 20. And then there's the beginning of the Olam of before the Olam of Tikkun, which is the Olam of Rami.
Again, I'm sorry. Olam Tov.
Tov, yeah, Olam Tov.
It
started on Elul, the 17th of Elul, or the 17th.
Well, it's interesting.
And the whole week of
Never heard
that
that.
period.
Well, yeah,
And-
because it's 7 meters. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so the note right before we up to the 27th of Adar over there. So it says that Hashem gave us so many positive mitzvahs to interact with the body and the vital soul. What is the greatest mitzvah?
The first mitzvah that you can find.
No.
The first mitzvah you can do. Like
The greatest mitzvah is tzedakah.
Oh, in that
in
order.
literature,
Yeah.
tzedakah is the greatest mitzvah.
Yeah, it saves you from it
But
saves you from
everything, the way the Gemara and the Medrash and Mishnayos and everything, tzedakah. Every time there's something, tzedakah. Always tzedakah. There's a fast day, tzedakah. Everything, whatever it is, you want blessing, tzedakah. The tzedakah is the greatest mitzvah. The question is why. It's an Alter Rebbe is not going to explain, because after we said that number one, the purpose is to elevate the physical world, and when you do a mitzvah, it's not only your neshama doing the mitzvah, it's your entire body and everything that goes into it, right? The food and the money, everything else. What is the most precious to you? The most precious to you is something that you worked for. If it came for free, if it came easy, it's not precious to you. Guy, I was learning with someone this week, and he was saying, why did ever discusses this in a sikha, a talk? It says, why did Jewish people have to go through Egypt? So the Rebbe talks about there, that in order for the Jewish people to be able, for Moshe Rabbeinu, to be able to experience the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Tetragrammaton and the Havaya, they had to go through the Mitzrayim. Because Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov had it easy in the land of Israel. They didn't experience any pushback. In order to appreciate the Torah, you got to go through hell a little bit to make it. You got to make it yours. In fact, the next week's parsha, we find a perfect example of this. Hashem speaks to the Jewish people a few weeks ago. It says, "Don't serve any idols." Next week's parsha, what did they do? 40 days later, they make a golden calf. What happened? So God showed that He's amazing. It's great, but it wasn't internalized. There's the thing that is one of the hardest mitzvahs to do is tzedakah. Because even when God comes to you and says, I want you to buy matzah, and matzah is $20 a pound. Better matzah is $25, $30, $50 a pound, right? You're thinking, oh my God, it's very expensive. But in the end, you're eating the matzah.
Trump's bringing prices down.
Not a matzah. Not a matzah. This is a controlled market. I promise you.
Yeah, I know.
I promise you.
Talking to one of the controllers here.
No, I wish I had influence in that market. In the end of the day, you get a nicer lulav and a rug. It's beautiful. You're spending money on God's mitzvah, but it's your mitzvah. You're the one who gets the benefit, right? Of the matzah, right? You come to the shul and you do a terror, you hit a terror. When you give money away, you worked hard for that money. And you could use that money to buy whatever it is for you. Nicer esrog. I'm not talking about a TV. Nicer mezuzah. Nicer whatever it is. And instead you give it to the other person. There's no more sacrifice of you than giving the money away that someone else can use. You get no benefit from the money. You just gave it away. That's why tzedakah is the greatest physical mitzvah you can do. Because it represents the overpowering of the godly soul over the vital soul. The vital soul says it's all about me, what I need for my living. The godly soul says it's about transcending you. There's no mitzvah that transcends you more than tzedakah. Let's go. 27th of Adar, what page are we on?
27th of Adar would be 5:15.
V'zeh yuva, now we'll understand Shifligu Razal, why the rabbis spoke so greatly about on the greatness of tzedakah of Amru, and it says that it outweighs, it equals all the mitzvahs. V'chol Talmud Yerushalmi he nikra b'shem mitzvah stam. And in the Jerusalem Talmud, tzedakah is called the mitzvah. It doesn't even say, it doesn't describe it. It's just called the mitzvah. Ki kach hoya a regal lashon likra tzedakah b'shem mitzvah stam, because that's normally what they would say, the mitzvah. But pnei because shehi ikar mitzvahs ma'asis. It is the core of all practical action mitzvahs. Va'ila kulana, and surpasses them all. Shekulan hey nakal alis nefesh achin Hashem. Because all the mitzvahs are in order to elevate your vital soul. You're using your body to elevate to mitzvah. You're elevating it. Shehi hamekiyemes aisam l'slamish behem. Because your vital soul is animating you, is keeping you alive while you shake the lulav, while you eat the matzah and the myrrh. The kol it's a to be absorbed in the infinite, in the blessed insight. The ein lacha mitzvah, and there is no mitzvah. You don't have mitzvah shenefesh shechiyunas mislavish ba, that the vital soul is enclosed in as much as mitzvah tzedakah, like mitzvah tzedakah. Shebechol mitzvah is because in every mitzvah ein mislavish ba and not koyach echem nefesh shechiyunas. When you're davening, you're using your lips, right? You're eating matzah, you're using your teeth if you still have them, right? But yeah.
If you don't have them, you gum the matzah.
And the Rebbe, by the way, comes with bleed. Rebbe bleed when he ate matzah. Yeah.
You didn't have dentures?
He wouldn't use it on Pesach.
No.
So the and there's no mitzvah. Your whole body's invested in more than tzedakah. Because what part of you goes to work? All of you. All of you is working. I
don't lease my neshama, it stays home.
But your whole body goes to work, right? Yeah. But when you work, it says that's the toil of your hands. How they call koyach nefesh chayunis. So all your entire power, the energy of your vital soul is muluvash b'asiyas memlachtei, is invested in doing this work. By the way, it's not only physical work. You come home from work, and even if you have a mental job, you're tired. You're physically tired. You're mentally tired. Or occupation, or some other occupation where you earn the money. When you give tzedakah, so your entire being, it's not only your hand that shook that lulav and esrog, or the feet that walked to shul, or the stomach that ate the challah. No, it's the entire being. And let's say you're gonna say, oh, that applies to somebody, right? Who, let's say, worked hard. If I didn't work hard, now I got a trust fund, and I just live off the interest, the dividends, right? Alter Rebbe says the fact that the guy gives money, he could have bought himself a nicer boat. Right? Imagine I came over to you. I'm the rabbi fundraise. And I came over to you. How obnoxious would this be? Ira, you don't need that money. You don't need to buy a new TV. No, that's wasteful spending.
You need to buy the shul a new TV.
Exactly. Right, what happened? I thought you said the shul needed a new TV. Why is it in your house? Rabbi, shul, synonymous.
Can I play my PlayStation over here, Rabbi?
Exactly. Right? Imagine how obnoxious that would be if I came over to you and I told you how to spend your money. Even if I have extra money, excuse my French, but it's none of your business. All right? I'll decide how to spend my money, even if it's extra, even if I have everything I need, and this is discretionary income, whatever it is, right? In the end of the day, it's your money. You can spend it how you want. So the fact that you're giving it away, instead of enhancing your physical existence, that's a mitzvah. It says, even someone who doesn't earn his livelihood from laborers, like working in the mine, since he's able to buy things for his to sustain sustenance. He's giving the soul's life to the Eibusher. And therefore, the Chachamim say that tzedakah brings closer the gula. Because what is the reality that Mashiach is going to bring? No. What's the reality Mashiach is going to bring? What's going to happen when Mashiach is going to come?
No work. Day off.
What? We can sit, study Torah
we can
all
dance
day.
with all our relatives.
No, everyone knows.
That's going to be a result. But what's going to be the reality?
Our connection with Hashem will just be stronger.
But what? But you're saying all good, true things. But what's going to happen is in short words, that the spiritual and the physical are not going to be viewed as distinct, separate items. There's going to be absolute integration. The soul's going to come back into the body because the soul, the spiritual, and the body.
Transcendence.
No, integration. That's integration. Perfect integration. That's what it's going to be. So the reason why we got to learn Torah is because the world is going to produce, and humanity is all going to work together so the Jewish people can work. Right? The soul's going to come back into the body. All these things, serving Hashem. It's all about understanding the perfect balance. Talking about me behind my face, in front of my back.
Torah is an API, is what he said.
What's an APA?
IPA.
What, IPA?
You know an IPA. I know.
API is
It's a way that apps can integrate
application
with
programming interface, but basically it's the way for you to plug in.
So that's what the Rambam says. Mashiach comes, the natural world is not going to change. Nature is going to remain the same. We're still going to have to eat. But instead of having this conflict, but my soul is pulling me one way, and my body is pulling me another way, everything is going to be total sync. So when you utilize your body, or the result of your body's work to the service of Hashem, that's integration, right? You're going to work and you're doing a mitzvah with it.
Is the Messiah responsible for that, or does he come at that age?
He's going to teach people.
But is he responsible for that, or how does that happen? How does the
So Mashiach is going to teach.
unification?
He's going to teach. He's going to teach. He's first coming for the Yidden, for the Jewish people. He's going to teach the Jewish people, and then we're going to go to Israel, and then slowly this knowledge is going to spread. This awareness is going to spread to the whole world, and then therefore there's not going to be war. Why is there war? I see you as a threat. If I saw you as an ally, Israel met with India now. Ally, not right. If I see you as an ally, I wouldn't attack you. I would assist you, right?
Hodi ve'Yehudi.
You're the Hodi,
Yehudi.
exactly. Now, should we stop here, or should we? Because Alter Rebbe is starting a sort of a new question. Should we continue, or should we stop here, guys?
How long is the next question?
It goes on. Alter Rebbe is we'll stop it. It's a new topic.
We're not going to finish the next question.
No, because Alter Rebbe is saying. Here you're saying physical mitzvahs are so great. Here you're saying doing tzedakah is so great. What about all the literature that says learning Torah is so great? You kind of have it both ways. So great. You're the greatest, and you're the greatest. Everyone gets a medal. No.
Tevye. He's right, and he's right.
Exactly. You both can't be
You're also
right. So to understand who's right, gotta come back next week. All right.